and welcome back to the That Works Studio. Today we have a build for you that can only be described as an absolute classic. Now Ilya and myself were both hard at work on some other projects, so Aleksey over at Bellerophon Studios is going to take the lead on this project today. And that project is Glamdring, Gandalf's awesome leaf-bladed sword that was originally designed by Peter Lyons of the Weta Workshop. Glamdring, also known as Foe Hammer, is one awesome weapon. But let me take a second and tell you guys about a video game that has a whole bunch of awesome weapons in it, and that game is War Robots. If you guys are anything like me, you grew up watching cartoons of big mechs and robots, and this game reignites that fire once again. In this game, you don't just click one button, your robot runs off and does something. No, you're the pilot. You get to command your robot and decide the tactics that you're going to use in combat. Hey, that guy kind of looks like me. The robots themselves are awesome, and they come in all kinds of different forms. Some are really small, light and fast. Some are heavy, loaded with artillery, ready to pack a hard punch, but they move a little bit slower. Holy moly, that guy's a monster. And they can all be upgraded and customized with any weapon and all kinds of different skins. When you download the game using our special link, you're going to get a special starter pack, which includes a robot with a weapon and a unique skin, plus 100 gold and 50,000 silver, which will help you get jump started right into some high action gameplay. Enough talk, let's check out some action. Our going first person is awesome. It makes you feel like you're right there piloting the robot. Boom! Gotcha! Not only is this an action-packed game, but sponsors like this allow us to do what we love, and that is making videos for you. So do yourself and us a favor by using the link in the description below and download War Robots today. And now it's finally time to make Gandalf Sword Glamdring come to life. Well, there you have it. That's the real way to make a magical sword. Thanks for watching this build episode. Just kidding. We're gonna forge it. Since Glamdring is said to have a blade that never tarnishes and always stays bright, they've chosen to forge their blade out of a stainless alloy. Truly interesting watching him work underneath both of his Russian power hammers with all the different die sets that he utilizes. That's because Aleksey comes from a background of doing ornamental ironwork, so he approaches projects from that view, unlike how Ilya and I do from the view of a bladesmith. This isn't your average straight sword, this is a leaf blade. Aleksey carefully marks his areas that he has to wasp in to create the classic leaf blade form. Now that he has his initial blade shape, it's time to cool the blade down, turn it around, and begin forging the tang. Here's another great example of some ornamental ironwork techniques. To forge out the wider sections in our leaf blade, he's now using a diamond-shaped spring swage. This not only widens it, but begins forging the bevels. And now another quick die change. We now have an angled bottom die. This will be the last phase of the power hammer forging. With the forging now complete, it's time to move on to the grinding phase of the build. Now their choice to use a stainless alloy to make sure the blade stays bright and shiny is excellent for that reason. However, stainless is abrasion resistant and it may just add a ton of work to the grinding portion of this blade. As I mentioned before, these guys mostly do architectural work and not too many blades, so they don't have the fancy grinder setup that we do. They rely mostly on hand grinders, and that just goes to show you don't have to have all these big fancy tools to create really awesome work. The guard of this sword is going to be forged from a leftover piece of stainless from the blade. It's a rather complicated shape, but I'm sure he's up to the task. Although, forging the guard out of stainless will make it rather difficult to mill in the slot of the tang in the guard later, so they're going to have to create all of the shape and the forging, just like Ilya always says you should do anyway. As the guard's being forged, the seemingly never-ending grinding work on the blade continues. Punching the tang slot into the guard when it's forged so thin shows a lot of experience and skill. Not only are they creating the slot where the guard will slide onto the blade, but they're also getting the guard wide enough in places to give it the proper proportions. To create the pommel for Glamdring, they're going to be turning on a lathe just like this. Now the plan is to actually thread the pommel onto the tang for the construction method, so while they're turning it, at the end they're going to be able to drill a center hole and then tap it right there on the same machine. With the guard, and now the pommel rough to shape, it's time to start doing the final detail work. To apply the elven runes onto the guard of our sword, they first apply a powder-coated paint solution onto the guard and then bake it until it's dry. Once dry, they'll be able to remove some of the paint in specific areas and then etch the entire thing, leaving the runes on the guard permanently. The team did a phenomenal job of creating this sword. They're now on the final journey of making it all come together. If you guys would like to see the full-length version of this build, as well as some theatrics that they add into the video itself, be sure to head on over to Bellerophon Studios, check out the link in the description below, give them some support. Those guys are awesome, and they're just getting started. I swear I'm about to kill these crickets. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, tell us in the comments below what builds you'd like to see us build next. Don't forget to subscribe to That Works.